Welcome to Imaginary Lands, the works of award-winning author and storyteller Bobbie Pell. Today's selection, Healing Emotional Trauma series, contains two books, A New Star and its sequel, Starshine. Both memoirs highlight the author's healing journeys following two near-fatal car accidents, resulting in near-death experiences, traumatic brain injuries, and post-traumatic syndrome disorder. Bobbie expands her spiritual beliefs with homeopathic healing methods, metaphysical techniques, Celtic folklore elements, and psychological therapies, all leading to ultimate healings. Dedications. This series is dedicated to my beloved husband Ron, for without his constant faith and abiding love, my struggles would have multiplied. To Dr. Walter Lawless, a man whose wisdom and humor led me out of the blackness into a new light. And to Laurel Mamet, master healer, who walked each step with me for over 20 years on this healing journey. Worlds collide. Words on a page are powerful. They can cause the downfall of an empire or the restoration of magical kingdoms. They represent life at its best and death's deepest mysteries. For me, words on a page became a lifeline, a safety net for uncontrollable fears, a loyal companion for those undefinable shadows, a release from tumultuous emotional rides. Words like traumatic brain injury and near-death experience found life on the page when the mere mention of these ideas unraveled my world. Words on a page. More than fancy scripts, sizable lettering, sequenced runic symbols. Within words on the page, dragons can recite poetry. New worlds filled with enchantments become accessible through arched portals, and readers' lives can be changed. Whether creating narrative poetry, fictional storylines, or even exploring my personal inner landscapes, words became the guides on a healing journey, my path back to hope. A Misshrouded Path. The healing journey reminds me of the climax in a well-written story, that pivotal point of suspense where everything that follows denotes a permanent change from all that has come before. My life was now separated into segments of before the wreck and after the wreck, since the person in both of these scenarios was the same, yet different. My physical frailties could not be ignored, while my emotional strata wiggled and warped in chaotic fusions. My life had changed in the flashest of flashes. Could words offer the guidance I needed to recreate my life? Words of comfort, such as hope and joy, or phrases of assurance such as, "Oh, you'll be fine," or "Everything will be all right." Such platitudes remained lifeless. For me to explain my dilemma in words another could understand without sounding like a resentful, whining child seemed impossible. Yet eventually words did begin to flow. Words like blame and hurt hovered near phrases of, "I'm shattered," "I'm broken." The distinction between my physical body and my entire being merged into one definition: despair. There had to be a new way of being, a new way of looking at life without seeing through the shroud of this incident. It became clear that I needed help to find that way, so God sent me healers, my dream team. Chakras. Through intensive work with Laurel, I learned about the body's need for balance. Imbalance was revealed in the 7 energy centers surrounding the body, identified by color and Sanskrit symbols, tying emotional, mental, and spiritual levels together into holistic healing. This tool proved invaluable over the years in maintaining optimal health. Hidden doorways. Like the layers of sediment creating tidal basins, or the strata of earth building cavernous canyons, words build knowledge one upon the other. Each seeks new terrain based on the next bend in the road or the branching woodland trail. Choices create new vistas, new challenges, new prospects for a well-lived life. Yet for the true seeker, each choice carries weight beyond its beginnings. Which way will we go? Shall we turn left? Shall we turn at all? The path before each person presents endless options. Deepening spirals. 3 sisters sit alone in the cottage, one to spin, one to measure, one to cut. Some think them strange, some fear them. Most know them as the 3 fates in Greek mythology, each one with her role to play in destiny's game. But for a believer in a plan for one's ultimate best, supported by the divine and universal powers through individual will, the mythic consequences of those 3 women remain in the realm of story. Or do they? Before slipping into a suit of flesh, did our spirits make a contract that expired with an exit date? Can we cheat death, as many folk tales describe, through bargains by outsmarting the grim reaper? Legends say yes. But if one is given a choice, leave this earthly realm for the next phase in our spiritual existence, or remain with all of life's challenges and joys, that decision reverberates throughout one's entire being. Ripples connect the many layers of a life transformed by that single critical act. To happen once is miraculous, but twice is monstrous. Journaling. Many of the healing sessions lent themselves to written expression through poetry, short fiction, inter-council dialogues, and journal writing, exemplifying the accessibility of words as an important avenue in the healing process. Examples of 7 different styles of writing are given throughout the book, with a special appendix teaching how these styles are appropriate for emotional releases. In the year of 2011 began with a barrage of images from both wrecks. However, I put into action the lessons I learned from working with Dr. Walter, so I let the images surface, wash over me, and then I moved on. I gave myself fully to them when presented, but refused to linger over them. I set new goals which would not be deprived by such debilitating occurrences. It was time to live life once more. Dr. Walter asked me to create a list of psychological, healthy values appropriate for my new self, then paired each value with committed actions to manifest the new life I desired. This list would take time to accomplish, but each step brought me closer into creating a life where I could be happy. Starshine, the sequel. Emotional trauma plants seeds of fears which can lay buried deep within for many years. For me, as a survivor of 2 near-fatal car accidents over a 20-year period, plus a 3rd head trauma on icy brick pavers, the healing journey required spiritual courage, imagination, and a dedication to emotional trauma recovery. Healing a broken heart. Using professional support and meditative creative writing therapies, I discovered how to identify specific issues, to explore trapped feelings, to excavate buried fears, and to release them in a finished piece of well-being. By following my story, you may discover insights for your own path to supported healing. Healing imagery. Using sensory images as hope beckoned in the not-too-distant future, I felt like a deep-sea diver, leaving the blue-black layers of the ocean floor for the frothy, sunlit waves above. I created a silk painting of this image, finished as a quilt, called Plumbing the Depths Towards Hope. Healed. In 2018, I suffered a 3rd head concussion, complicating my traumatic brain injury condition. While healing, seeds of PTSD born 20 years ago from both car accidents surfaced. It was time for release. Through a meditative writing technique of the conference table and professional help, I confronted the worst of those horrors. Through this inner work, those fears were finally transformed. I am now free of PTSD.